Another lovely spring blue sky day here at Empty Mountain. You'll probably hear Mike working in the background on the roof of the sauna building. And I just thought I would offer an update. Yesterday, Mike drove quite a ways to go and fetch 2 used water cubes that a guy was selling for sale for a really good price, and brought them home yesterday so that we can up our rain catchment capacity, which has always been our plan. We're just kind of making small steps and improving our systems as we go. And you know, when I think back to the beginning of life out here for us in the woods, so we moved on the land July 1st of 2022, and like for the first year we had one 55-gallon barrel that I would go and get water from at a nearby National Forest campground in like small jugs that people gave us, and we collected and anything we had around to fill up water, and then I would come home and empty that into the 55-gallon barrel. And that's what we did like for the first year. And then when we had the cabin, we were able to gutter it and start collecting water, and then we got a second barrel. And anyway, so we're just kind of slowly, now we have 3 barrels. We have 3 55-gallon barrels, so we have 165 gallons of capacity of storage right now, and that's been about what we've had for the last 2 years. But now we're like, okay, we're ready to up our game in the storage department of water. So we got these new cubes. Ta-da! Here's where we're storing them for right now. It'll be a little while before we can get them hooked up and collecting. But here's our new cubes. So these will be great for us. And I think the plan is for Mike, I think he plans to like put them on the sauna building, you know, gutter it, filter it into here, and then build boxes around them and insulate them with the hopes of being able to store water next winter, like through the winter. Because this last winter we had to bring all of our water inside so it wouldn't freeze. And so he's also, I think, gonna find a way to like get these close to the sauna building and not have insulation on the wall. And then we're gonna light a fire. There's two different stoves inside the sauna building. There's the sauna stove, that's the wood-fired sauna stove. And then in the hangout space, there's another wood stove. And his thought is that we'll light a fire in there once a day to just keep it like above freezing. So it'll be conditioned space in part of that building. And then these will kind of like hug the exterior wall and be insulated and maybe draw enough warmth from the inside of the building, plus being insulated. And they're large enough tanks. All of that might get us like to have this water not freeze through the winter. That's the hope and the dream. And the experiment, which is what we're doing out here. Like if there was one word to encapsulate what we're doing out here, it would be experimentation. We're trying stuff out and seeing how it goes, and adjusting as necessary. So anyway, these will be great. Here's one of our this is one of our OG you know, Renegade water collection containers. It just drips off the roof. There's no gutter here. So this just drips, you know, it fills pretty quickly actually, which is amazing. And we were using this to actually sift earth, I believe, or wood chips or something. Mike built this, and right now it's just what we had on hand to cover this, because if we leave this open, the thing about open water in the woods that we have found is that animals climb in there, especially in the summer when they really want water and are thirsty and it's dry and hot out. They'll climb in there and then they can't get out. So when we have open buckets, we've been putting like sticks in them so critters can get out if they get in there, or we make sure that they're lidded properly, or something else, you know, to keep the animals safe. So this is just kind of what we had on hand. It's a little big and burly, but you know, you use what you got. So we don't have our one barrel hooked up here yet. This is where one of our barrels lives, and this is guttered. Because Mike just bought, and it just arrived in the mail, we just bought like spigots that you can put at the bottom of the barrels. So he's going to prep one of the barrels, and we're going to experiment with seeing how that works. Because right now how our barrels work is that we need to siphon it out with a hand pump, which is no big deal. I tend to manage all of that. It's not a big deal for me, but he's like, well, it'd be cool if we had, you know, we could just kind of have a spigot at the bottom, you know, and be more sort of ready to use that way. So we just got him in the mail, so he'll have to figure out how to prep the barrel and put that in and install it. So we just have one of our barrels going right now, which is the one on the west side of the cabin, this one here. And so we've already been making great use of this. We've highlighted this before, but so those are gutter, and it filters in. So this is an old compression sock that I had around from after I broke my ankle. And this is just a water container. And this sort of does the first filtration of stuff coming off the roof. Pollen and sticks and leaves and stuff like that. And then we have, as you can see, like this piece of screen that has a hair tie that keeps it on. And yeah, this keeps the bugs out and is just another sort of level of filtration. You know, so it's a very obviously simple rustic setup that we have, but you know, it works pretty well. So yeah, this is what I open to siphon out of to fill our buckets for washing up purposes. And this is the one that we'll put a spigot in at the bottom to see how that works. And then we have our third barrel off the shower house. And this is guttered at the top, but then it just drips off the side into this. This is like a screw container. Came with a bunch of screws in it. And we cut a hole in it and angled it so that when it drips, it just kind of falls in there and angles it into the barrel. So we've got a few different systems going. But yeah, so those water cubes are, I think, what are they? 275 gallons. So there are 5 of our blue barrels per cube. So we're upping our catchment substantially. So it's the equivalent of adding 10 more barrels. I'm not sure, I don't know, I think he plans to use both of them, but we may just use one on the sauna house and another one on the cabin. We'll see how it goes, one thing at a time. But yeah, so we're also hoping that once we start collecting more water, once we have the bigger capacity, that we'll be able to start filtering it for drinking and cooking. Because all this time and still now, I haul potable water from town. So I haul cooking and drinking water. And we just use the rainwater for washing hands, dishes, and showering, and washing the loo buckets for the compost toilet system. And right now we don't have enough storage collection capacity to also meet our cooking and drinking needs. I don't think we're pulling in enough for that. But once we start getting more, we'll start filtering it, and then, you know, sort of hopefully I'll be able to stop hauling water from town, which is really not a big deal, but, you know, eventually I'll get old and tiresome. Right now it's pretty easy, but, you know, it'll be great to, yeah, just, you know, we're just continuing to step up our systems and improving things and making life a little easier for us also. Bonus. So yeah, that's kind of where we are on the waterfront. Mike's continuing to, roof the sauna building. And we're just getting into the time of year where, like, we're now not needing to run the generator every day. we're getting enough sun and the sun is high enough, and staying in the sky long enough where our PV panels are drawing enough light to fill our house batteries for electricity. So that kind of started around the equinox, the spring equinox. So that was kind of cool to put together because I keep track of these things and take notes and keep notes and stuff. So I was like, oh, we don't need to run the generator every day. So yeah, around the equinox, you know, March 21st, we were able to stop using the generator every day. And now it's been a few days since we've used it because it's been really sunny out. And oh, I had a butterfly friend come visit. But as you can see, like, so this mountain we're really close to, and so the sun rises here. And, you know, through the winter, it rises more over here, and it rises like around 11:30. So we just don't see a lot of sun, and then it sets behind the trees pretty quickly. But now it moves over throughout the year and rises, you know, earlier and earlier now. And so around 9:30 in the morning right now is when the panels start picking up sunlight. So and then we have, you know, probably, I haven't really monitored the other end, but, you know, around 5 o'clock or so. So we have it from 9:30 to 5 or so, which, you know, for us means then we have enough to run. The house batteries will fill up and we have enough to run through. We don't need to do the Jenny. So it's kind of cool to just kind of continue to see how, you know, we're so impacted by the light in the seasons here, and because we're in this narrow canyon, that really changes how much light we get with how close the mountain is and how many trees we have too. You know, it was actually when we started looking for land, one of our criteria that like was important to us was like to not live in a canyon. Like we didn't want to, that was on our no list. We didn't have a big no list, but that was one of them, like no canyons. Because we're familiar with this area. We're seasoned Montanans, and we know that, you know, we just get so little light in the winter here. It's gray a lot of the time, and so a narrow canyon means you get even less light, especially in the winter, and winter's our longest season. So, but as we kept looking and, you know, our limited budget and seeing what was out there and what we could afford, it's like, okay, you have to start adjusting. We had to start adjusting our criteria. And so one of the biggest things, maybe the only thing that kind of had to be cut was the canyon living. You know, we're like, okay, well, this has everything else going for it that we were looking for, and it's in a canyon. You know, we're just gonna do it and hope for the best, sort of. You know, so it's definitely an impact thing for sure. Like not having a ton of light in the winter. But, you know, in a way, too, that allows us to appreciate it even more when we have it for, you know, the time of year that we do. And, you know, it's a substantial part of the year where we get good light. And, you know, I would say there's, I don't know, maybe around 5, maybe 6 months, but probably closer to 5 months that, you know, we can go without using the generator very much at all, so that we can just operate on the PV panels and the sunlight coming in to charge our house batteries. So, you know, so that's good. We are not there yet, but we'll probably be there soon-ish, where we'll be able to keep our shower hooked up. Also, right now we still have to put it all together every time we want to take a shower because we can't leave all the parts and pieces outside and freeze overnight. It's still getting well under freezing here overnight. I think it was around 20 degrees this morning, and there was frost on everything, and you know, so it's cold here still. But it's 66 right now, so you know, Montana's famous for its vacillating temperature. So, and actually next week there's 2 days slated to not get above 38 degrees, so you just never know. So anyway, we're able to store water outside, but we can't quite keep the shower hooked up yet, so, but we'll get there. So yeah, it's a lovely day in the woods today. And actually just the other day, our house batteries were full and it was still bright and sunny out. And I was like, what's going on? The PV panels aren't drawing. And I was like, oh, the batteries are full. So it was the first day, I think it was 2 days ago, the first day that the house batteries filled and the panels were still fully in the sun. So, you know, that seems a little early actually. So I was kind of surprised. I was like, oh, wow, we're already there. You know, once we get a few days of sun in a row, then the batteries and the system kind of catch up and start banking the light differently. And it's kind of hard to explain, but you know, like the relationship we have with our PV panels and our solar system and the electricity for our house batteries and all that, it's a cool thing to be connected to. You know, I'm just very acutely aware of our electricity and how much we use and how much draws coming in through the sun. And yeah, it's a cool relationship. So let's go. We'll go check on it. Oh yeah, see, she's already full, I think. Oh no, she's green still. She's blinking green, which means she's drawing. She's kind of in the shade, but she's drawing a little bit here. But 26.8, that is, as you can see here, 99%. So we're almost full up. So that's awesome. Way to go, Shira. If you have not followed along with us to know, we call our system, our solar system, our solar power setup, Shira, Princess of Power. It's an homage to our childhood and the cartoon Shira, Princess of Power. Yeah, they're Power Queen. These are called Power Queen batteries. So, you know, that was kind of the inspiration for, you know, I like to name stuff. Helps me feel closer to it, you know, it's part of the fam. So, so it's pretty great. So thanks, Shira, for giving us electricity, powering us up. Thanks for tuning in.